Hello, I'm really glad to be back here with you all again. I hope one of these times I can actually be here in person because I'd really like to meet all of you. I become familiar with some of you through your poetry in the Senecal, and I love all your work. Tonight I'm going to read a couple of poems, and there are a couple of new poems, and then I'm going to talk to you a little about a favorite poet of mine. But first, I'll read these two. The first one is called Gertrude Stein Home Movie, circa 1927. And here is the link for that home movie. Gertrude Stein Home Movie, circa 1927. Alice B. has long relinquished Ms. Stein to her madness. Gertie turns a blank face to the camera. Her eyes pull the rest of her bulky body along a pretty path where there are well-to-do guests, and they glance at the camera and wonder who she is that friends are taking these movies of her. She walks slowly, holds tough to herself as do her poems, words like spite, like barbed wire, like flattened peony petals. Alice B. does not smile, does not look pleasant. Perhaps she has given Gertie the results of recent x-rays, so Gertie knows why she hurts. It's Alice B.'s responsibility. Some youngster, some man on either side of the lumbering poet. The day is ripe for well-to-do guests. It's clear, in this place, only Gertrude truly knows where she is. Second poem is called About Colin Schroeder. What the hell really happened to my sweet old poet friend, Colin Schroeder, whose starving eyes would not release me throughout my entire visit to Chicago, 1969? Did he really choke to death on a fishbone? I don't think so. More likely, he was blown up by a shotgun pointed at him, courtesy of an angry husband in Chi-Town, where Colin chose to live. All the angels are there, he said. They fled New York, came to Chicago to write poems and drink Ripple wine. I stayed where I was in the Inland Empire. Nothing happens there except spousal abuse and strong hot winds. Safe enough. It seems to me that Colin chose a bad place to die, whether you believe the official version of his passing or mine. When I traveled to stand by his gravesite with other more appropriate friends, I thought of us, Colin Schroeder and me, at the bus station, gripping each other like Velcro tape. Him saying, "Come with." Me saying, "I can't." A dream of thunder. Something rumbles. Maybe thunder, maybe the voice of Poseidon. Maybe I dreamed this. Maybe my dreams have escaped and are free to find me wherever I am. I think they can do that. At night my eyes are like clenched teeth, trying to keep the dreams away because they're dreadful and strange. Later, when the smallest thorn of light pokes through the dark outside, I sleep at ease, not dreaming, not feeling or knowing anything. In the background, just above the mountain, a raggedy marching band turns, then returns, like a dream of thunder or of rain. This poem is called After the Hurricane. There is that moment, an hour or two after the hurricane, when it comes to you that, before it hit, you were weeping. You sat in the kitchen and thought about aging, how your children hated the oldness of you, refused to see you. You were weeping. Your feet were crossed at the ankles, A tissue was balled up and damp in your fist. You wept for your sins, for the selfishness of your soul, for the sound the minutes make as they race by you, pass you up. When the hurricane hit, the screen door blew off, and the roof shingles lifted, and the rain came like needles. Your cat leapt to the top of the fridge. Your lover pulled you into the bathroom and held you very tightly. The lights went out. The phone rang twice, then stopped. A porch chair blew over on its side, danced across the yard. After a while, it was over. You thanked God for the cat, for the roof, for the way it stopped suddenly. Then all you heard was rain landing hard on the sill. You went to bed and woke late at night with a cramp in your hand. You still held the tissue, balled up and damp in your fist. Oh yes, you told yourself, right before the hurricane, I was weeping. This poem is called Where It Goes, and it's from the manuscript of the same name. The poem is for Charles Bukowski. Where does it go, all that living? It was real when you lived it. Then it felt like parakeet pecks on your lips. Then tiny spots you could see when you wiped your mouth on a white napkin. The specks were proof of life. The feathers in the cage were proof of nothing. You ask everyone, where did it go? They like to think you're drunk again, so they can smile at the horror of your question. It's horrible to be human, huh, kiddo? Horrible to know what you've done wrong, and to know that you can't fix it. Mad dogs don't know these things. Humans do. Where does it go, all that living? You close your eyes for a nap, open them, and your passion has wilted like a picked wildflower. Tragic, oh tragic. So what now? Your rhythms are poverty-stricken, like last grains of rice on a paper plate. You've got death in your sneakers, and your ears ring with the sounds of no one saying anything anymore. That's just the way it is. The best you're going to do after dark tonight is decide whether or not to feel, whether or not to bleed. One of my favorite poets of all time is Amy Lowell, and I think her work is stunning. It has always moved and affected me. And there are reasons why Amy Lowell and I understand each other. These are a few of them. She never attended college because her family didn't consider that proper for a woman, so no degree. No degree, no respect. A glandular problem kept her perpetually overweight. The poet Witter Bynner once said, in a cruel comment which was often repeated by Ezra Pound, that she was a hippo-poetess. She wore a pince-nez. She had thinning hair that she kept in a bun. She did not cut what we'd call an attractive figure. Goodbye prizes. Lowell found it necessary to publish her own work. It is beyond wrong, in my eyes, that I or any other writer should share the fallout from these kind of biases. Yet we do, in spades. So this fat, uneducated, unattractive woman died before she was able to collect the Pulitzer that she worked so hard for. Still, she gave us this poem, among many. A London Thoroughfare, 2 a.m. by Amy Lowell. They have watered the street. It shines in the glare of lamps, cold white lamps, and lies like a slow-moving river, barred with silver and black. Cabs go down it, one and then another. Between them I hear the shuffling of feet. Tramps doze on the window ledges. Night walkers pass along the sidewalks. The city is squalid and sinister, with a silver-barred street in the midst, slow-moving, a river leading nowhere. Opposite my window the moon cuts, clear and round, through the plum-colored night. She cannot light the city. It is too bright. It has white lamps and glitters coldly. I stand in the window and watch the moon. She is thin and lusterless, but I love her. I know the moon, and this is an alien city. Finally, the last lines of my very favorite of Amy Lowell's poems. Patterns. Up and down the patterned garden paths in my stiff brocaded gown, the squills and daffodils will give place to pillared roses and to asters and to snow. I shall go up and down in my gown, gorgeously arrayed, boned and stayed, and the softness of my body will be guarded from embrace by each button, hook, and lace. For the man who should loose me is dead, fighting with the Duke in Flanders in a pattern called war. Christ, what are patterns for? Thank you.